Thanks for having me.
No worries. Thank you for coming. I appreciate it. So for those who don't know who you are, what you do, please share with us.
So my name is Yasmin Diaz. I hate to say the word influencer,
but you are. You do influence a lot of people, so you deserve.
Yeah, I do. Do you know why I hate saying that? Because I still feel like I'm young and I'm making mistakes. So I don't want younger people to look up to me and feel influenced by what I do, because I do a lot of dumb things that I do look back and I'm like, I shouldn't have done that, but it could influence someone into doing it. So I hate that terminology, but I am that one. And I'm also a uni student. I think I emphasize that a lot because I'm in my second year of uni and it's literally my life right now. Like uni is literally my whole life right now. So yeah, that is me.
Okay, so is this the first time you've ever spoken about mental health?
Yes, I think this is the first time ever I've spoken about mental health on camera and to someone else, other than like my friends and stuff. Because, you know, me and my friends do check up on each other for a lot, because in this day and age, people go through a lot and don't like speaking about it. They'd rather keep it to themselves. And I just feel like I've done that mistake many times as well. Yeah. And it gets to a point where you kind of like just lay it all out, and it kind of comes out sometimes as you could be, because it's like the more you hold things in, the more you become angry at yourself, and the more you build up anger within yourself. So it's like eventually when you say it all, you could say it very rudely, or you could just kind of just cry and break down, and your friends could panic, or your family members.
Do you think that attitudes towards mental health difficulties have changed?
Yes, I feel like it's something that's picked up on a bit more now. And I feel like, for example, when I was in secondary school, it wasn't something that was spoken about at all. I can't remember going to any assembly or having anyone come in and talk about stuff like mental health. I didn't even know it was a thing.
So what experience have you had with mental health difficulties?
So before I came onto social media, I had like no anxiety, and like I didn't feel like any mental... I was actually... Before social media happened, like I had social media, or I was involved in social media, I was perfectly... I wouldn't say like you're not fine when you have mental illness, but I was literally like no worries in the world. My head was screwed on, like I was good. But I feel like as time kind of went by, I gained, like I really got... I didn't even know it was anxiety until like I started to tell to my mum, like I don't feel... Like I make up scenarios in my head of the worst possible situations. I overthink everything. I always think the worst before the best. I don't feel comfortable in public when there's too many people. I feel anxious. Like those are traits of anxiety, and it's almost like due to social media. I mean, when you have followers and you live like I would consider myself as a normal teenager, like a normal young teenager adult. So it's almost like I feel like when I go to certain places now, I have to be wary with who's around. Only because I've had times where I'm on the bus or on the train and someone messages me like when I got off, like, oh, I've just seen you. And it's almost like, who though? Who are you? Like, do you know what I mean? Like, who are you? Like, it's crazy because it's like things that almost make me feel unsafe as well, because it's like I don't even know who watches my snap. Like now, it's so bad that when I go out with my friends, and my friends do this as well, it's like we make snaps, but we post once we leave.
Okay.
And I do that, and like I'm so like on like, okay, you're not posting me, like, and I never used to have this trait, but that's mainly because of like how I feel about my own safety as well, and like the fact that I don't know what people think of me, and the fact that my life has become people's entertainment, which is, I don't mind, there's benefits and there's obviously the bad sides. And I will say that the reason why I started having anxiety is due to social media from such a young age, and I think that's what caused me to have it. But then I was going through like the heartbreak stage, and it happened at the worst time, because you know when people say your household really impacts how you, like, a bad household, your environment really impacts on you. So my granddad got diagnosed with cancer and had malaria. He lived in Angola, and it really turned like a massive... It literally turned my household dark, because my mum was literally like... My mum's like... Her dad is her mum and dad, so it's almost like she lost two parents in one. Started saying certain things that I just thought, my mum's not okay, do you know what I mean? And then she reached out to me one day and she just said, like, you know, like, I've been going to therapy and I've like not been okay, and you know, I've contemplated doing certain things, and it's almost like you feel like what's going on, do you know what I mean? And obviously I knew her dad meant so much to her, so then eventually we went to Angola for about 3 weeks, and at this point I knew my granddad wasn't well, but it's almost like I had to pretend to be strong on the outside because I didn't want to see her. I didn't want to see us upset. And at the time I was living with my uncle as well, who's also like that's his dad.
Yeah.
And he was like the strongest for us all. But then I remember like just seeing how sad he was. Obviously your dad's dying. And then I remember being at a festival in Manchester and getting a message. I remember my dad calling me and like asking me almost if I'm okay, and I was like, but I hadn't received the news that he had passed. Because my data was off, like I had turned, because I just wanted, because that was the first time in ages, which I thank my friends for, that I had actually gone out to enjoy some time, because I was literally going through it, because bearing in mind my granddad has been ill for ages, so my mum was almost, like the way my mum was treating my granddad's illness as if almost he had died already, like she was almost talking as if he was dead already. So I remember going to Manchester for Park Life, and I get a call from my dad, and I'm like, this is strange. Like, why is my dad calling me at 2 p.m? Like, I remember answering, he's like, are you okay? And I was like, yeah. He's like, have you spoken to your mum? And I was like, no. And then he was like, I'll call you later. And I just almost went, what's going on? Yeah. Like, something told me something's happened. So I literally went to my friend, like, right, okay, I need to turn my phone on. And I remember, like, there was no message from my mum, like, no writing message. She just sent me a broken heart. And I had just known that, and then I remember calling, like, I was in Manchester, bearing in mind, so I was like, I was nowhere near. My mum was in Angola, my sister was by herself at home with my uncle, but it's almost like I felt like, I remember just sitting in my friend's car and crying, like, literally, like, because I didn't know what my mum was thinking. My mum, like, till now, I'm so happy that my mum was there when he passed away, because I think it would have been 10 times worse if she was here, didn't get to say goodbye to her dad, like all of, like that whole situation would have been so, like I think it could have gone really left. So she was out there for another like 2 weeks after he passed, and I remember sitting down with my uncle thinking, right, how is mum going to be when she comes back, because you've come back to this country, but you know, like your dad's like not there. So it was something that really never got any better from, so for literally the whole summer, I say to about like the end of August was hell, like living in hell for me. And it was almost like I never really, like, I showed no remorse about anything. Like people almost felt like I didn't care, but not because of anything, but it's literally because I didn't speak. I didn't know what to say or how to act. And I remember like it was hell, because I would act so okay throughout the days, but every day I'd go into bed, it would literally be like tears upon tears until I could actually fall asleep. And that only got better until I actually spoke to my mum, and I was just like, this has really pulled an effect on me, and I need to kind of sort this out. So then we kind of started speaking to each other a bit more, but obviously I just wanted to give my mum the right space. And it's like now, it's almost like that's made us stronger. But people go through that without deaths happening. Like that happened to me due to a death, but people go through that without deaths, and that's scary to me, because it's almost like, wow, like there's no reason for you to, obviously a reason for you to feel like that, but nothing triggered it. Like with me, it was like obviously a death happened, it was a massive trigger, and I learned a lot about myself. I learned that, you know, you are stronger than what you think. And there's only so much like people will say to you, and you kind of have to, you need to give yourself time to heal, and it won't happen overnight. I feel like I'm still on the process of healing, like I'm not there yet, like I feel like I'm making that journey now. And I actually, if like days now, like I look back of how I felt 6 months ago, and I'm like, it makes me feel sad to know I felt that sad.
What do you think has helped you in relation to your healing? So looking back to where you were to who you are now, what has helped you within this process?
If I'm honest, crying and speaking about it. I have this diary that one day I think I'll be strong enough to publish into a book, but I literally write everything in there. And it's like, it could be the smallest thing. I write everything how I'm feeling. My notes on my phone look crazy.
I do the same thing.
Like my notes on my phone are crazy, but no one will ever think that. Like when I'm really angry, I go on my notes and I'm like, I'm angry because da, da, da. And then I read back and I'm like, I shouldn't really be angry. But I won't care about this in a year. And what I did, which was an error, I tried to distract myself as much as I could.
Okay.
And the only thing that happens with that is it hits you in the darkest places when you're in bed or when you're alone. So my main advice would be to cry and speak about it. Nothing will ever be too much, and no one can ever tell you you're not right for feeling the way you do.
So how do you take care of your mental well-being now? I know you said that you're still on social media and that does impact how you feel. Outside of social media, what are you doing to kind of help your mental well-being?
I've got a rule. I can't spend more than 2 hours a day on Instagram.
Okay. Wow.
I've got the timer thing that you can set on your Instagram. I think that helps a lot because that's not a real world. Like, Instagram's not a real world. You know what I mean? Selfies, that person to get that. Like, that is actually not a real world. Like, those people, those followers, they're not really with you in your darkest moments. So I'd spend less time on social media. I spend more time with my family, and I read a lot. I read so much. Like, I read so many books on mental health. I'm reading a book right now called You Are a Badass, and I love it. Like, I'm just reading so many quotes, so many books, watching documentaries. Like, I'm just doing things that I don't usually do, going to the gym more. Like, I'm doing things that are beneficial for me and kind of help me grow in different areas of life, which is good.
Oh, that's amazing. Thank you for sharing your story. You know, you're going to be inspiring so many people, and like you said, you had a trigger.
Yeah.
Some people may not had a trigger, but you'd be still inspiring people. Where can people find you on social media?
On Snapchat, Yasmin Diaz. On Instagram, Yasmin Diaz X. And Twitter, Yasmin Diaz _.
Thank you.
Thank you for having me.